more than anything in the world. And I get there is people who are willing to pay for a subscription, but like, can we just not? Can we just not?
In the past, you used to have the freedom to make a one-time purchase to buy most things, and then had the freedom to do whatever you wanted with that item. There were no loopholes, hidden fees, or reoccurring charges when you could buy things outright. And whenever a new version
Scott says, I sketch all my memories. Photos are witchcraft. Are you like Aboriginal or something? Does it steal your soul? Photos might be witchcraft. I don't know. I don't know much about photography. Might as well be witchcraft to me. You put some silver on a piece of paper and then you expose it to light and things change and stuff. And then you have some like different chemicals and it brings it to life. And that's scary. That is some sort of seance or something like that. I'm not into it.
Out, you had the choice to spend the money to upgrade or not because you were still happy with the product you had. The control was in the hands of the consumer because they got to pick what they spent their money on. And now
David Thoreau says, buy a console, buy a game, buy a subscription for the console so you can buy the subscription to play the game. Get the fuck out of here. Right? So you buy the console and then you buy, well, no, you have subscription services for the game, right? You have Xbox, PlayStation Play, you know the ones I'm talking about, where you download and then you play that for a little bit and then you download another one and play that for a little bit, but you don't have a collection of games. I remember having a collection of games when I was younger. I still have those games, I'm sure, somewhere, but it's not like I can play them because nothing is backwards compatible because they want me to pay for a subscription where the game is already in digital form in there, so I don't even have to use my plastic discs anymore, right? I just get it from that. Oh, but you know, I have to pay them. I have to pay them again for a game that I already have and I owned and I played. I don't want to do that. Can I not do that? No, you can't do that because nothing is backwards compatible. That's some horseshit. That's a lot of horseshit. Makes me mad.
Now, Gen Z and, well, all generations for that matter, have to deal with everything they want being behind a reoccurring paywall.
You know what I'm sick of?
What?
Subscription services for everything.
Yeah.
I'm so sick of them. I'm tired. Like, it started with streaming services and it seemed like a good idea, right? It was like, okay, cool. Instead of buying DVDs, I can just pay X dollars a month and I can get all these shows. Mm-hmm. But now they're starting to take away the shows and there's 900 subscription services for things.
Yeah.
Draw the
Yeah. Yeah. And not only that, if any of you have Hulu, they have tier levels for Hulu, right? Like, they have, like, the base rate Hulu where you get some of the shows. And they have, like, a little better Hulu where you get, like, more of the premium option shows. And then they have the good Hulu where you get, like, NFL and stuff. And, like, you can get all the things. So they're stratifying you based on how much you pay for Hulu, right? So this is how they implement the you will own nothing and you will be happy, right? Slowly, with things that you don't need a physical copy of or a physical form. But eventually it's going to be like your lawnmower, your car, your cell phone basically already is that, right? Because what do you do with a cell phone when you don't have a carrier? Nothing. There's nothing to do with it. It's a little shitty computer that you could do some things with, but not really all that great stuff. So it's moving into this point where you can't own anything. Owning stuff doesn't make sense anymore. And so what do you own? You don't own the land, right? Do I own these shirts? Yeah, I own these shirts. I own hundreds of these shirts. But I'm not buying any more shirts. And I'm not wearing Tommy Bahama. Nope. Not wearing Tommy Bahama.
all these different streaming channels, right? And now I'm seeing that they got subscription services now for refrigerators.
Yeah.
For rich people.
Scott says, no, sir. I have all the CDs I got from Columbia House. I never paid the bastards either. Columbia House. He says, if you know, you know. I don't know. I think I vaguely know what that is, but is it some sort of... I don't know. I don't know what that is.
Yeah,
That's
people
before my time, probably.
be wilding out with their fridges.
The reason I feel like this hits Gen Z particularly hard is because they're the first generation to enter adulthood dominated by subscription models. For a lot of them growing up, they never had DVD collections or a CD player in their room or...
I remember DVDs, right? I remember people go to someone's house and they had like the tower with the DVDs and stuff, and I'd look through them and I'm like, oh man, you got this one? This is a good one, man. This is a good one. And I would look at people's DVD collection or Blu-ray, depending on, you know, a lot of people have Blu-ray, and I was like, holy shit. But I would look through that and I'd be like, you got some bangers here, dude. There's some good movies here. But now everyone's got like, there was also a time when people had hard drives, right? And a lot of it was pirated. But then they'd have like 500 movies that were on hard drives. And now it's just like, oh, everything's in the cloud. I have this password. That's what you own? You own a fucking password? That's all you own. You own a password that you made up one day. You don't even, right? A lot of times you don't even make up your password. It comes from a password generator that you have to pay a subscription for. You stop paying for that subscription and you lose your passwords. You don't even own that. You don't even own your own passwords. Damn, dude. And it's all about, it used to be about convenience and stuff. Like, now it's just oppressive. Now it's just like, fuck, I can't own shit. I mean, try to buy a new car. They're like $100,000. Oh, you could buy a used one. You could buy a used one. But that's not going to be worth it, right? What, are you going to spend $40K on a used car? And then it's going to last you a little while, but then it's going to break down. And then that's just that $40K gone. So you got to buy a new one for it to make financial sense. And then it's just like, wow, that's like 80, 90, 100,000. It depends if you're going for something nice like a Raptor. It's like $120,000. So what do you do? Well, eventually you're going to have to start renting your car. It's expensive now, but I'm sure there's going to be a program that's going to make it a little bit cheaper. But then you're just never going to have a car, right? You can buy a car, and after 5, 6, 7 years, you own it. And you can just maintain that car depending how well you take care of it. You can have that car for a long time. You built equity in that car. You own that car. Owning things is about building a life. They don't want you to build a life. They want you to stay in line. And if you step out of line, even the smallest bit, the teensiest iota, they will eliminate you. Not by shooting you in the head, although that would be pretty easy, but just by canceling everything you own. Canceling your bank. Canceling your payment processors like they did the Canadian truckers up there. Ending you. Right? Making you essentially illegal. Like the movie's Logan's Run. It's an old movie, right? Just ending you. And that's it. And then you'll just be homeless or just starve to death. It's not their problem anymore. It's much easier than sending out a hitman. And people get upset. People get upset when, you know, if they were to kill you, people would be mad about that. But if they cut off your payment processor, if they cut off your banking, your Hulu account, everything that makes you able to survive, people aren't going to be like mad about it. I mean, they'll be mad, but they'll be like, what are we going to do? We don't have our own payment processor. We don't own Visa. They're a private company. They can do what they want. Well, no one's got cash anymore, and they're going to start phasing that out too.
Magazines that they wanted in the grocery store. Also, I can hear the boomers now telling me about...
buy a console, buy a game, buy a subscription for the console so you can buy the subscription to play the game, buy a console, buy a game, buy a subscription for the console so you can buy the subscription to play the game, buy a console, buy a game, buy a subscription for the console so you can buy the subscription to play the game. Get the f out of here.